I don't know how many people in our society practice meditation, but meditation is crucial, I believe. And that's simple. You know, you sit in a comfortable chair and you breathe. We got to do it anyhow. I tell my class when I teach, if you don't do it, we got to call 911. We got a problem, right? So you inhale deeply. You inhale deeply for 6 seconds, and you try to get it for 6 seconds. And then you exhale deeply for 6 seconds. And you don't have the TV, the music, anything. You're by yourself, sitting comfortably in a chair, and you are breathing. And you do that for 5, 10, 15 minutes. I remember one time when I worked in an agency, and I was running an anger management group. And a person slipped a note under my door, and when I read it, I was totally pissed off, totally pissed off. I had about 10 minutes to shift my mental state to go into an anger management group and not give them the finger. I mean, but when you meditate, it enables you to make that shift. Mm-hmm. Because you're breathing, it calms you down, and not only does it quiet down, but it helps you relax. So that then you're able to be more attentive. When you're relaxed, you're more able to be attentive to the details of what you need to do. And it also energizes you. After 2, 5, 15 minutes.
Well, once you know what to do, then of course you're going to be energized.
Right, even if you don't totally know what you do. Just the fact that you're relaxed and you cleared your head, your thinking will be improved and a direction will show. Your thoughts, allow them, direct them, but focus as much as possible on the breathing. The other thing I think that's very important is humor. I mean, how many people, you know, when I was talking about the New York Times article before about the wonder of babies, where they're social magnets, where they knew really how to work the crowd, they laugh a lot, babies. I forget the exact statistics, but they laugh all day long. Adults, how often do we as adults laugh? Now, I'm sure you've heard, huh, that's not a laugh. You got to shake the belly. It's got to be the belly laughing. It's really got to be where your whole body is shaking. I know when my brother had cancer, and that was about 30, 35 years ago, and I told him, I said, fine, I said, you know, do what the doctors tell you. Now, here's a different way of looking at things than I do, but I said, well, I'm going to tell you 2 things. One, aside from doing whatever the doctors tell you, I want you to laugh, and I want you to laugh yourself out of bed. Rent as many funny movies as you can, or funny books, or cards. I don't care if you use comics. Just get something to get you to laugh. The other thing that's important is to talk to your cells. Invite the cancer cells to leave. And tell your body that the only cells you'll allow in it are healthy cells. And thank God he's still alive 35 years later and doing well. So laughter and humor is, one religious magazine said, laughter is an expression of divine joy and a powerful soothing agent. And I know sometimes when my son was very, very young and he'd get me really angry and I'd start yelling, he would, I don't know what possessed him, but he would laugh. The more angry I got, the more he laughed. It's very hard to stay angry when somebody's laughing like that. And this is not a mocking at laughter, but it's just laughing at your ridiculousness or the ridiculousness of the situation. So laughter is very important.
My nephew's son is that way.
Yeah, yeah. God bless him, yeah. When you laugh, that decreases stress, it changes your vibrational pattern, and it allows you to be creative because your mind is clearer after you've belly laughed. And then another important thing that I think is very useful is letting go, forgiveness. Now, people think that...
Well, letting go not necessarily forgiveness.
Well, it's a combination. What I mean by that is people say, well, I forgive them, but I'd like to kill them, you know. No, then you didn't forgive them and you're not letting go, all right? When you see what they did, you don't have to like it, nor should you like it if it's been bad for you. But you have to put a boundary there. But say, look, I'm not going to spend the next 10 years of my life trying to get you back. There was an article in the Times that vengeance was sweet and natural. But one thing it didn't say is that if you go that route, that energy then consumes you. You become, I've got to get you. The other person has gone on, had their lunch, and you're trying to figure out ways to get them back, right? So when you forgive them in the sense that you let them go, that doesn't always mean if they really hurt you or they've broken your trust, that doesn't mean you embrace them and say, I want to see you every day. No, don't come back in my life. You don't have to allow them back in your life. But it creates space for you by truly letting them go, emotionally, creates space for you to do what you want to do. The other thing I think is very important is faith. Because how do you see vibrations? What is faith? This table is a computer, there are chairs, there's a screen. We can see these things. What the heck is faith? How do you explain faith? Faith is seeing something that normally you cannot see through your normal senses, right? So you need to believe that Source, however you can understand that, will give you, will provide for you whatever you want and whatever you need. That if you put your energies in positive mode, positive things will come to you that you are seeking. And then there's that connection. Because when you get into this mode, you're less likely to be belligerent with a person. You're less likely to create problems. You're more free thinking, and you more realize, look, we're all on the same planet. We're all human beings. And that's important. You know, you're not some outer space monster. You're a human being like I am, right?
A lot of right-wingers call in outer space monsters.
Well, you know, thank you for mentioning that, Mel, because, you know, when they get fanatics about anything, right-wingers or otherwise, very dangerous. You know, because there are a lot of groups, some even that promote self-help and get into this thing as we're the way, and you have to follow our way. And if you don't follow our way, you're excluded. And I think that's very, very dangerous. Because you might, it's okay to disagree with somebody. So you're okay not to like somebody for some reason. But when you begin to say you have to be like me, we get into trouble. You know, when you don't say, well, okay, this works for you, but that doesn't work for me, and I'm going to do something different.
So yours is not looking positively towards Christian Science or Scientology. Well,
no, it's just that that's who they are. I don't agree with them, okay, but that's who they are. That's the way they're following it. As long as they, now, it gets difficult because as long as they're not harming somebody. Now, I don't know enough about those groups to know their philosophy, but like that guy Jones that had all those people, Jim Jones committed suicide. See, you can get into a thing like that where you damage people, or even as we were talking about earlier, Hitler, where he thought he could make this master race and everybody else was, you know, crap that could be done with whatever want. So people can distort it. That's why it's important not, you know, to trust the fact that there is a purpose here, that we each have a purpose, and we're all part of the universe, and we all see things differently. If we take all the people in the studio or all the people in the audience, and we asked, okay, where do you want to go for lunch? We might all pick a different place, right? We might all have a different philosophical view or political view or whatever. That's okay. You don't have to agree on all those things. But if we say, well, because that's different, we're going to harm you, it's a whole different ballpark, whole different ballpark. And I think when you connect with yourself, that inner voice, and you connect with your spiritual source also, some of this takes care of itself. So you need to create space. You need to be receiving from Source. Say, look, Source, God, Allah, however I can, Yahweh, however I can address you, this is what I need. This is what I would like. And I'd like to do this because I like to help people. I'd like to do something. And have the faith that it's going to come, that it's going to come to you. We all should be able to thrive. Despite the news about the economy and the world crisis and all of that, yes, these things are real, but we need to be, we all have the ability to thrive. We all have the ability to be prosperous. I kind of shocked the class one day when, now many of these students have challenges and of different kinds, and some of them are financial. I said, listen, I'm going to tell you straight out, there's no reason to be poor, there's no reason to be stuck in a bad relationship, and there's no reason to be sick. I said, now,